Hello, I think we are live. Right, okay, let's get some comments already in. Hold on, I'm just double checking to make sure that it's definitely working. Can you guys see and hear me? I believe. Hang on. Yeah, it sounds okay when I'm putting it on my phone next to us. Just to, have a bit of a weird deja vu, have watching myself on my phone. But yeah, hopefully you guys are all doing all right. It seems to be working okay at the minute. Yeah, let's quickly get into some comments. Still got no gammons, by the way. What a name. Getting Michael's son. What a window. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's certainly interesting so far. It's definitely not been dull, has it? Immense start of the campaign, and still loads of time to secure even more key signings before the season kicks off. This has to be a club record for the amount of foreign players at the club in one campaign, or is my memory rubbish? I don't think your memory is rubbish, mate. I think I'm pretty much in the same boat. I don't think I remember Sunderland ever signing this many sort of foreign players in one go. But it's not no different to what I was expecting. Pretty much, I expected Sunderland were going to have a window where we were going to sign a lot of foreign players all the same. Hello there, Ian. How are you doing, my friend? Ian, as always, who loves to comment on these, and it's much appreciated. One Way Ticket Dave, again, another name I like. Exciting times ahead. Yeah, it would seem so, wouldn't it? It would seem so. But yeah. So I mean, obviously, one of the big things that's happened today. I mean, it isn't quite a signing, but it's a pretty much a we go from Fabrizio Romano. Is the it looks like imminent signing of Armand LAURIENTE from Sassuolo. I keep always getting that name wrong. Sassuolo, I think that's how you say it. But anyways, no, I mean, it's pretty much been one where this is one that's been kind of linked or sort of been in the background of negotiations for the last few weeks. Now, as it turns out today, it looked like we've agreed a fee of 20 million euros, which is around 17 million pounds. I was supposed to be believed Keith Downey. Then you've got the 17.5 million pounds. It looks like he's going to be coming to the northeast and getting a medical and getting all this stuff done over the weekend. So my suspicion is that it'll be announced probably on Monday, or it'll be announced maybe on either say Sunday night or Tuesday, because obviously, of course, there is a game on tomorrow night, and of course a game on Monday. So we play Sevilla tomorrow night, and then we play Sporting Lisbon, I think it is, on Monday night in when we have our little mini tour, I guess, of Portugal, which is going to be quite appropriate. Yeah, we've got, what is it? I think 46 people watching. That's absolutely insane. I'll put the link to the tweet in the chat, by the way, just so people can. There you go. There's the link to Fabrizio Romano's tweet that I think I've just put within the chat. I don't know whether it's come through here, but it should be on there. There we go. So if you click the link, that'll show you the link to Fabrizio Romano's tweet. But yeah, let's go for some more of these comments, and I can slightly hear myself. Can people hear me all right? I've not had any comments saying it's gone tits up so far, so I'm going to assume that it's gone all right. Let's see. Ian Brown Knights. Laurienте will be hit or miss, in my opinion. He excelled in the second division and did all right in top division. At least he has experience. Hello, Edward. People getting excited for the future. Hopefully, we deserve it after all the rubbish we've been through the last few years. David Scott, completely agree, mate. Now let's get on with centre backs. No disagreement there from me. Jim, window is amazing. Feels like if Carlsberg ever did transfer windows. Hey, I absolutely love that. And of course, Dane, fellow Star Wars fan like yourself, says hello there. Ian Brown, for a 32-year-old, Xhaka is class, and if we sign him, it'll excel our chances of staying up. I would probably have to agree with that one. Harry Turner says one striker. Well, I'm assuming you mean striker. We said one striker needed. Is striker a new combined striker and winger position? Striker sounds a funny name, but yeah, one striker needed and strength and defense is a must. Now I agree. No Gammon says yeah, no sound issues. That's good to hear. And then things is unfortunately, I think Xhaka is looking less likely now. Being totally honest, then I've not once thought we would sign Xhaka. I don't think that. I mean, I hope to be wrong on that, obviously, but I don't think it's going to be. It's not a sign. It's not something I'm anticipating from Sunderland, and I really hope I'm wrong on that because I think he would absolutely be a fantastic a fantastic signing for us if he did come. But I just don't see it. Really don't see. Let's have a quick look, see if there's anything else that's on here. I'm having a look through forums. I'm having a look through Twitter. Everything else, I'm looking to see if there's anything there. But I don't think there is in terms of new rumours or anything of that sort. No, but anyway, let's get through some more comments. I think we got up on comments. Looks like we probably have done. Guys, if you're watching this, hit the like button. That'd be much appreciated. We've got 22 likes so far, and there's 52, around 52 or 55 of you watching. So that'd be much appreciated. And if you're watching and you're not subbed already, and you think that my efforts have earned one from you, then feel free to hit the sub button, because I'm trying to slowly creep up towards 7k. We hit 6k the other week, which was fantastic. Now let's see if we can try and get towards 7k. Right, let's see. What else have we got? Centre-backs are definitely the priority now. Diakite, Lucimi, and Diego Carlos are the main names mentioned in the last week. You are absolutely correct. Paul, do you think Mundell will be away? I'll get to that in a moment, my friend. Robert Foster. Xhaka may prefer to stay where he is for Champions League. Ian, Leverkusen want 20 mil. We've offered 10. Now, this is the thing. Quickly on Xhaka, I wouldn't be paying anywhere near that for a 32-year-old. I think that's just... I think it's a lot of I think it's a big asking price. Thane said in a comment further down, Xhaka is interested in the move. What is it? Xhaka is interested in the move, but what's letting it down is Leverkusen's asking price of 20 million euros. Yeah, I wouldn't be going above 10 million quid, put it that way. One-way ticket. There's being heavy in midfield makes me think the Brees will utilise the subs far better and press high for 45, make subs and press it high again for the next 45, aiming for the quick turnover and counter. Wouldn't be surprised. Ian Brown says, devastated the lazy so-and-so. Oh, sorry, I mean Adnan Januzaj isn't playing tomorrow. What a player. Aye, definitely. Gary, things are going to change as a lot of good players are coming in. Gary from Doncaster. Wow, thanks very much for watching. Let's quickly go to Paul Armour's comment. Do I think Mundell will be away? Well, if you believe there's anything in this, that he's removed Sunderland stuff from his Instagram, I think it is. He's removed Sunderland from his main profile picture. I think he's removed some Sunderland pictures from his posts and stuff like that. I haven't seen it in full detail, so someone please correct me in the comments, because I might have ended up getting that wrong here. But I would not be surprised if that meant that it's more likely that he leaves. And I would imagine that a lot of it comes down to the wingers we're signing. I mean, if you look at it, just on the face of it, we've signed Talby, we've signed Adingra. It looks like we're going to sign Lauriente. You've still got Roberts there if you want to use him. Me personally, I don't think Roberts is good enough for the Premier League, but I wouldn't be totally surprised if Roberts did stay. So I think the issue then becomes, if you get a decent offer for Mundell, and if Mundell wants to go and maybe have another challenge and maybe go to someone like a PSV, even though I think in club that's a step down from Sunderland, or certainly Sunderland in the Premier League anyway. But I think from Mundell's point of view, I think he would want to go and play regularly, wouldn't he? So, and at the minute, with the wingers we're bringing in, he's not guaranteed that here. So, if you're asking me personally, I think that if you're asking me personally what I would think, then I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if he left. And then the question becomes, what fee do you get if he does go? For me personally, given the fact, I think when he signed 18 months ago, he signed a 4.5-year contract. So that suggests to me that he's got, 3 years left on his current deal? So I'm of the opinion that I think it would probably be wise to sell him if he wants to go. And I think you could probably still even get at least 10 to 15 million quid, because the caveat is people can say, oh, well, 15 to 20 like Jack Clark. But I think you've got to remember, Romain Mundell also had 2 massive injuries last season, 2 big hamstring injuries at that. But he definitely played his part in helping us get promoted, by the way. I'm not going to dispute any of that. But, I think as well, with the fact he has 3 years left on his contract, I think you should be getting at least 10 million from me. I think if we didn't get that, I'd be very, very disappointed. Let's see the thing. I know it's all about fitness, but I'm pretty confident we'll win tomorrow night. Sevilla are not what they used to be. A lot of financial problems. Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna complain if we win tomorrow night. I think Sevilla and certainly Sporting, I think, will both be much harder tests or bigger tests than the likes of, say, well, on paper, the likes of your Hearts and your Hulls and South Shieldses and stuff like that. I think these games, I think, will tell us quite a lot about Sunderland's aspirations, because ultimately we want to prove that we can compete and even beat really good opposition, because that's what we're going to have to do in the Premier League. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow night. It should be pretty good, actually. I'm telling you, we're going to be the next Nottingham Forest. We'll have 40 plus players on the books. Well, I'll tell you what. Then that means in the next 3 years we're going to be in the Europa Conference League, and I would take that in a heartbeat. Let's see. Tom, that's right, Michael. I've just checked, and also he's seen apparently he's left Portugal and went back to London for a medical, I think. For Mundell. I wonder if he's got. I wonder if it is. PSV and Monaco apparently are the ones who, apparently they're the two that have been reportedly linked with Mundell. I've seen something with PSV, but I've not seen Monaco linked concretely anyway. Yeah, we need to find a young Kone. Yeah, well, hopefully if you can find one of a Sam Allardyce Kone, the one who actually gave her monkeys and actually was willing to perform. Actually, I've just realised, yeah, that phrase when describing a black player is probably not the best phrase. But I mean, like when he actually gave a hoot and actually was playing within him, playing of his actual ability, not the one that down tools heavily after Kabul and Allardyce left. But yes, I would very much like to see someone of that 15-16 Kone and someone who's like a beast, is athletic, is strong, quick, that sort of area, and obviously one that's technically decent as well. So no pressure, just spend 50 million on them. So yeah, there's that one. The Southern Northerner, I love that name. Absolutely love it. And Michael, I think Daniel and Dennis Sircom need to be sold as no noise on contract talks. Are you aware of any? Nah. I mean, people. I think there's been a few people asking if I get. For me personally, I don't usually seem to get info, and I think I find it flattering that people think some people question if I do get info. I promise you, I don't. But yeah, I think that if both of them don't get sold, then I think. Sorry, if both of them don't resign their contracts, then I think both will get sold this window. Let's see. Mundell is a talent, but for me, 10-15 million is good considering we paid £2 million for him. Yep, I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. I think, again, it's a balancing act, isn't it? You don't want. Ideally, I want Mundell to stay. But if he feels that he's not going to get game time here with the wingers we're signing and wants to go and prove himself back abroad or in another English club or whatever it is, then fair play to the guy. I'll have a lot of respect for Mundell for that. And I think he should be earning a considerable profit as well. Yes, we've signed players, but we still need more depth, especially in midfield and defence. Yeah, I think I'd agree. I think defence is the main one, but I wouldn't complain with another midfielder or two. Michael Oliver, always quality, Michael. Well, hopefully you mean our Laurienте, but if you mean the stream, then thank you very much. Hello, Paul, brother, how you doing? Hope you're well. Just watching before Anth goes live. What time does Anth go live? Anthem Macken. By the way, check out his channel. Really, really good. Really good discussion, really good conversations. I've been on a few of them. Few of his videos. Really like him. Really great guy. We need that experienced head in midfield. I agree. 2 centre backs. I agree. Versatile fullback. I agree. Striker. I agree. Maybe a number 10. Less so sure we need that, but it depends where Lafay and all that are going to play and stuff like that. It wouldn't surprise me if Al Khanous from Leicester, which was linked last weekend or the back end of last week. So I wouldn't be surprised if Khanous is maybe he's attacking midfield, and I believe he's got a 22.5 million relegation release clause. I think. But yeah, possibly a keeper. Yeah, I think we need a keeper. I think we need a keeper more than a number 10, personally, but that's me. Let's see. In my view, says Stephen Martin, this is the best transfer window Sunderland has ever played. It's certainly the most expensive one, but that's when that's also when it's the climate. It's the current climate of the Premier League, isn't it? Yes, Ian. I believe some of the new will only be. Now, I don't know about all of them, but there'll definitely be a few of them that will be playing. I would imagine. Be very surprised if they didn't. Thane says, apart from Reynaldo, who is still having an extended break, when it comes up, Robert Foster. Funny, isn't it? Juan Sartori is president of Monaco, and that's one club interested in Mundell. Yeah, true. Tom, I've seen Pal only wanted to spend around. Sorry, seen Pav. Pav only wanted to spend. Who do you mean by Pav, or do you mean Pal? Says only want to spend £15 million, but I'd want more than £20 million personally, especially considering they've just sold Bakayoko. PSV. Sorry, that's who you meant. Okay. And the £20 million personally, especially considering they just sold Bakayoko for 18 million up front and 4 million in add-ons. Yeah, I think there's every right for us to want to ask for that. Phil Peacock, with the recruitment on the midfield, can't wait to see what the defence and keeper will look like by the start of the season. I'm very keen to see by the time we play West Ham what the team's going to look like. It's going to look, I mean, the defence obviously needs to be different than it is right now, but I think it will be. I think we will sign at least 1 or 2 really good centre-backs. Or at the very least, 1 star quality and 1 decent one with future to develop into a really good player. Dave, I no longer worry about players leaving as they always seem to have better options coming in. Fair enough. Nothing against Mundell, and this is the case for a lot of our current group. A lot of our signings are in a higher level, and unfortunately, it's going to make some upset. But it's all about progression. Yeah, no, I agree with that. This is where again you've got to come about with the ruthless, sort of nature. Given the fact we have got promoted, and I think that's going to be a very big factor. Really, we can't have room for sentiment too much. I mean, obviously, I think Mundell would have been handy for the squad. But if he goes, then you'd imagine Laurienте. I'm guessing here, by the way, because I haven't watched Laurienте play, but I would imagine Laurienté is a step up from Mundle. But again, time will tell. We don't know yet. Alan Gardner, what's happening with the Lucemi rumor? I don't know. Apparently, we put in a bid. Bologna rejected it. Apparently, he wants to go to a club that's in the Champions League. But if I'm right, so did Diarra, I think. Or have I got that wrong? And then Diarra ended up coming to Sunderland. So I think, I'll be disappointed if Lucemi doesn't consider us at all. Let's put it that way. Harry Turner, Dreyfus likes Xhaka. He himself working on the deal, and Sunderland offer 10 million. They won't be a massive, and they won't a massive unless a massive improvement is made. Thing. I only said number 10 because of the way we set up against Shields with Lafay playing deeper alongside Diarra, and we had Brown as the most advanced midfielder. Yeah, no, well, okay, fair enough. I can understand that. I wouldn't be totally against it. Then put it that way. Alex Vidal, Vardy on a free transfer. Now, see, I think I've got an unpopular opinion about Vardy. I'd have him in an absolute heartbeat. I don't understand because especially on Twitter, there's a lot of Sunderland fans that won't have him, and that's fine. That's their opinion. I just think what people have got to remember, he's got nearly double figures in goals for a Leicester side, and I'm sure Ant, whom we mate, who's a Leicester fan, he won't mind me saying this. They were cack last season. They were really, really poor, and I feel like Vardy to get a number of goals for that team was really good. The only caveat I suppose you could say that distorts his, because I think he got 9 goals, the only thing that distorts that a little bit, I think 4 of them, 2 of them came against in a home 2-0 win against Southampton and a 2-0 home win against Ipswich when all the clubs were already relegated. So that might factor into it a little bit. But I think personally, I wouldn't complain if we say we signed Vardy and it meant that the money spent on transfer fees, for example, could be better. What's what I'm looking for? Better distributed towards goalkeepers and a goalkeeper and a couple of centre backs. That's more along the lines of what I was trying to get at. So I'm just checking my phone to make sure everything's still going okay. But yes, that's what I'd say. That's how I'd kind of view it. But yeah, I would have Vardy absolutely. Dave Scott, they all say we're going down, but I think we will shock a few teams and stay up. If we get some good centre backs and we get a good goalkeeper, as in Premier League good goalkeeper, then I don't see any reason why we can't. I know it's going to be a step. I know it's going to be a massive step up in terms of quality. But when you look at the players we're signing, a lot of the reaction I'm getting is how have Sunderland got him? How have Sunderland managed to sign him? Oh my God, Sunderland are cooking. And that's from when every time Fabrizio Romano puts out a tweet about players that we've been linked with. So I think that's important to bear in mind. But yeah, I don't see why we can't, David. I don't see why we can't. Ian says, if we aren't going to get much from Mundle because he's injury prone, I'd ask for a 20% sell-on clause. We only get 10 million. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I'd like to get a sell-on clause, whatever the fee we get. But yeah, if it's only 10 million, I'd like at least a 15% sell-on. Then our first big for Lucimi was rejected, but we're apparently going back in with an improved bid. I've heard Lucimi would be interested if we can agree for you belong it. Now, actually, here's one then. Where have you heard that we would be interested? I'm assuming you mean in Sunderland, or do you mean going to the Premier League? Hopefully you're right, by the way. Apparently this guy is meant to be really good, but again, feels like with Sunderland, I often can't have nice things, so we'll see. Ian, after Wembley, I was worried we would have a sentiment attitude. I think to some degree, Ian, you can't just rip the core, and I know you're not saying this, but you can't just rip the core out of what got you promoted. You do have to keep some level of sentiment, as long as the players are still going to be good enough at the same time, if you know what I mean. But I think we knew at the time that we're going to have to be ruthless to have a chance of staying up, really. But yeah, I wouldn't say I was worried about it, but I knew Sunderland would spend money, but I didn't think we'd be doing anywhere near this much, which is really good to see, by the way. Michael Oliver, you mate, you're the man. Michael, thanks very much, mate. You're far too kind to us, but I will take it. Then I'd rather have Calvert-Lewin, even though I don't want either. But to be honest, because signing Llorente, we might not sign striker now, especially if Mundle does stay. They'll likely say Llorente as an option. Well, Sunderland like to do that, don't they? So we'll wait and see. Personally, for me, I would take Vardy. I'd rather Vardy than Calvert-Lewin because I think Vardy would be trusted to be fit more often. But that's just me anyway. And I wouldn't be surprised if we signed him and again put the bulk of the fees towards centre back, goalkeeper, and another mid, and maybe Xhaka if there's even a remote chance of that deal happening. Ian, if we bid 24 million pound for Lucimi, it's good to know we have a good budget for some centre backs. Well, that's what I mean. I'd like to think that I heard whispers and rumours that we could spend 100 to 250 to 200 million pound this summer and still be okay within PSR because, like I've said loads of times and explained loads of times to the point where people are probably bored of it. PSR, when you buy a player, you don't pay the whole fee up front. So, say Laurienте, for example, say it's 17.5 million, like Keith Downey's put. It would be 3.5 million in the first year of his 5-year contract. 3.5 million the second year, then the third year, then the fourth year, then the fifth year. That's pretty much how it would work. So and I think we're allowed to lose up to £60 million a year. So in theory, we could afford quite a few more players. Bologna won £20 million for Lusumi, but our second bid was supposed to be between 20 and 25. Okay, we'll wait and see. Every Young, we see Leeds. We see Leeds. I think you mean we saw Leeds regularly. Well, apparently, they were looking at Laurienте as well. So that's a third player that we will have probably overpaid for, knowing some Leeds fans' logic. Not all of them, but some of them. What's this one? Paul Armour. Sorry, then, just get your comment up twice. How many players from last season do you think will still be in the team when we play West Ham? Very good question. Who do I think will still be in the team? I can only see 2 or 3 at most. I think Hugh will. I think Lafay obviously will. And possibly one of Isidore Mayenda. Depends if we go for anyone up front. I think Ballard as well. So I think 3 or 4 I think will be in there. And I think to some degree you kind of need that. But because obviously you need a little bit of a core there. You need some relation. But this is why we want these players in as early as possible so that we can actually get players gelling with each other and actually having a better chance of them getting used to each other and getting used to the rhythm of each other and everything else. So yeah, but no, very good question. And it's certainly a question I'll be interested, maybe ask it again, like say in a couple of weeks' time when the season's about to start. I agree, we need to strengthen defence massively. Why is this not coming down? There we go. M. Shihan, 18. What about player right now you're most excited about? Diarra, if I had to pick one, probably just because he is our record signing at the moment. I think Diarra and Adingra, it's between either of them two, but I would say probably Diarra. We'll wait and see. See, David, I would take Vardy all day. He can change a game off the bench. I wouldn't even complain if Vardy started, to be honest. Not every game, but I think a handful of them. Ian Lusumi also agreed terms with Bournemouth, so he'd rather go to an established Prem club similar to the Petrovic situation. Yeah, but if he wants a club in the Champions League, Bournemouth aren't in there either. So, I don't think for me it would make sense to say you want to go to a club in the Champions League and then pick Bournemouth over us. I know we're a newly promoted club and they're established, but also remember, Bournemouth have lost a hell of a lot of players this window, so I'd be disappointed if we lost out on him as well as Petrovic. Although apparently, from what you believe with Phil Smith, Petrovic wasn't even close, apparently. Stephen Martin, spot on. Thank you very much. Thane says, one Italian outlet said he could be interested in a move here. I hope that's the case. Jack Shaw, Granit Xhaka could fit Sunderland's model. Well, that's the hope. The next comment is from Ollie. I think we should go for the Bayana from Man U, the second choice goalie, maybe. Oh, sorry, Ed, will we upset Leeds regularly? We've definitely done that this summer, haven't we? Alex McDonald, what happened to the centre-back we were linked through in Monaco? That was Singo, and to answer your question, I have no idea. No clue. Shihan, we need a Josie Altidore or something like that. Well, hopefully a much better version of Josie Altidore. That would be the best way. David Scott, they want £40 million for Lusimi. Then Diakite agreed with Bournemouth not as okay. Diakite agreed with Bournemouth not Lusimi, but even Diakite agreed to join Bournemouth allegedly, but nothing's happened yet. Thomas Patterson, who would you start at centre half on the opening game? Well, as of right now, by default, it's probably Sealton and Ballard, but I think by that point, that depends on who we sign. I think Ballard will start. It's just a question of who we sign at centre back to either play alongside him or to start alongside him and eventually displace him potentially. See the next one. Bruce D. Honestly, in a state of shock. Never expected this sort of spending. Put someone back on the football map. Very excited for the West Ham game. So am I. And I'm looking forward to the atmosphere that day as well. Because the first game back in the Prem. And I'll tell you what, I think for West Ham, that should be viewed as a very hard fixture for their first game. Especially when we've just been promoted. And especially at the Stadium of Light too. Then, as it stands, we'd have to be Ballard and Seal, but we need at least one centre-back in for West Ham. Completely agree with you. Aaron, none of them for me. They've both done for me in neither in Premier League, Champions League. Right, sorry, you have to say that again, Harry. None of them for me. They're both done for me in Premier League, Champions at best. I think you mean Championship at best. Drifter, Chris Rake has better stats than Diakite. I like that. Jim, Leeds have far less money to spend than us because of previous overspends. This is the thing I don't understand. Like, I don't know how some Leeds fans can't get this. Like, I know that they obviously, to be fair to them, a year ago they sold Gray, Ruta, Somerville, and Kamara, and they recuperated well over 100 million quid. But that was to offset previous seasons where they overspent considerably. So really, it's not done all that much. If they hadn't had sold them, then they would have been in a really bad position with PSR. Whereas Sunderland have managed their money carefully to the point where we're not spending very much. And this is why I think we've got more scope than Leeds and Burnley to spend. At least if I've interpreted that right anyway. Etienne, there's Vardy, no thanks, that's just wasted money. That's your opinion, but I completely disagree with that. We're already good in the forwards department. Isidore Mayenda are enough. I don't want to put too much pressure on them, that's all I'd say. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if you're right on the latter point about Isidore Mayenda. I think they both, you could argue, have earned a chance. But I disagree completely about Vardy. But that's fine. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. Marianne and Carl Taylor, I believe you're the ones from Boston, Massachusetts. Is that right? I remember Philly used to say that on Fan TV. But hey, and Pat. But anyway, hope you're doing all right. And Pat. Oh yeah, we need an upgrade on him, I think. Then Laurienте and Adingra for me, but Diarra looks promising as well. Come on, why is this not coming down? Hang on. Right, okay. Anthony, Sunderland have spent more than all the Liga clubs combined, excluding Barca, Real Madrid, and Atletico, 71.7 million euros. Never thought you'd see that, would you? Ollie, I think Isidore, Ballard, Hume, Mayenda, 09 and Sirkin. If you mean start against West Ham, well, first of all, Sirkin and 09 are both injured. And to be honest, Sirkin, I wouldn't be surprised if we sold him just because of because the contract situation hasn't been sorted yet, and also because he keeps on getting niggly injuries, doesn't he? And 09, I think he would get murdered by VAR, but I love the guy to bits. Drifter Tarby, for me, this will be the player you're most excited by. Conspiracy SAFC says new home kit on the 25th. I look forward to that. Jeffrey Hodge, I live in Leeds, but I have 3 season tickets. Little conversation with neighbour opposite, who I very much annoyed. You'll find them, we'll sign them. He's fuming with Leeds, not us. I like that. Marianne and Carl Taylor, we really need a keeper and centre half. Completely agree with you. Dave Scott, we can keep 09. He can run up and down the pitch every time we score. Yeah, with his arm in a sling. Bless the guy. Hang on. What's this doing? There we go. Thane. I don't even think we were ever after that single. You never know. Stuff doesn't get leaked out anywhere near as much these days. Alex McDonald. There's Patterson will be good 1 or 2 years, to be honest. Yeah, maybe. Paul. Good evening, Michael. I hope you're well. Likewise yourself, my friend. I feel it's far too soon to be considering selling Mundell unless he wants a move. I think he'll do very well with better competition. I ideally would like to keep him, but if he's removing Sunderland, I'd love to know why he's removing Sunderland stuff from his Instagram page. Because if that's the case, that suggests to me quite heavily that he probably will want a move or will want to go somewhere where he's going to be guaranteed more minutes, I suppose. Let's see, Ian Brown. Most money on any promoted team spent in a season was Forest 170 mil. I reckon we'd break that. There was still much to do. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we did. I would not be surprised if we did myself. No gammers. One of my staff here in Australia is I think you mean Australia, is a Leeds fan. His response to today's news was, are there any foreign players left for anyone to sign? At least he's got a sense of humour. Jim, including Laurienте, our squad value is now higher than transfer market on transfer market than Leeds and Burnley. Is it? I did not know that. You got to bear in mind with Adingra and Laurentiis as well. We signed both of them when they each had 1 year left on their respective contracts at Brighton and Sassuolo, respectively. So yeah, no, that is interesting. And I've even seen some Leeds fans say to spend more, they need to try and sell more before they can invest more, and due to wages as well. Well, this is the thing. If you compare Leeds' wage bill to ours last season, for example, it won't be any comparison. I'll be very surprised if our wage bill at highest was about 7th to 10th in the Championship. Well, maybe lower end playoffs probably, but still. You got to remember, Luton probably will have more of an expensive wage bill than us. I think Middlesbrough had an expensive wage bill. Norwich did as well. A lot of that would be Josh Sargent, of course, but still, I think this is why I think we've done really well to get promoted, and this is where with the wages we're in a better position to be able to go and spend more, not just on fees but on wages. Right, what about Gabriel Goodmanson linked with Sunderland as well? Another one we're trying to steal off Leeds. So we just go for anybody who's linked with Leeds. So let's get Anton Stack. There now, the squad value is not too far away from Wolves as well. Ollie, what happened to SCFC Fans React? It's still there, mate. Me and Sean have been doing more regular videos. But yeah, we are trying to make an effort to do more. We haven't met this week, but we're looking to try and get more videos done across the summer and, of course, across the Premier League season. Goodmanson has already joined Leeds. Yes, he has. Alex, do you see Brentford having a bad season because losing their 2 best players? This is the weird thing for me because I think with Brentford, they're selling Mbeumo to Man United. And Wissa was linked with Newcastle loosely. I don't see Wissa going on top of Mbeumo and Norgard, and then on top of losing Thomas Frank as a head coach. I think Wissa will still be at Brentford, but isn't it one to watch? I think they're a team to watch one way or another. Let's put it that way. Robert Foster. There's experience and there's old. Vardy is 38. I think they're past signing Beatrix. Again, I think Vardy could still contribute at Premier League level for a year, personally. Ian, good to see all the signings we have made in the midfield and forwards play on the counter-attack, so all the signings make sense for our Prem gameplay. Absolutely. Can you give us your starting 11 right now, says Shian, as of 18th of July? Well, if you're talking as of right now, I'm talking, you mean for West Ham, I'm presuming. Well, right now it would be Pato, Hume, Ballards, Sealt, because obviously you had a lot of injuries in that position. Reynaldo, then I would say, if I had to guess, Diarra, Neil, if he's still here. If not Neil, then Sadiki. Lafay behind Laurienте, Adingra, and probably Isidore, maybe? That's what I'd probably guess at. But again, that question best off being asked within the week leading up to the start of the season, the West Ham game. Then plenty of power, plenty of pace and energy, which is very similar to how Forest play under Nuno. Right, we're getting European football in a couple of years. Jim, don't forget Sadiki could be the next N'Golo Kante. Absolutely. Mike, Mr. Bowser's gone live again. Stop that. I'm going to sit. Stop that. I'm doing sit down and listen. Thanks, Mike. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit slow in the comments. I'm just trying to get through them as quick as I can, but still acknowledging them adequately, or try to anyway. Hello, Dorman. How you doing, my pal? How you doing? Ian, Roberts, 09, Neil, etc. would be great for cup matches. Our priority would be to survive and focus on that. I wouldn't complain if we tried to have a decent cup run this year, but obviously a lot of that is the luck of the draw, isn't it? John Shaw's, do Sunderland employ scouts or just buy whoever leads are after? Hey, Paul Graham's here. Hi, mate. Great show as normal. Thank you very much. No, thank you, sir. Thank you. Alex McDonald, who are we going to sell for PSR? Off the top of my head, Bar, Ekwa, Matete, Hemia, Russian, if we can get a little bit of money. We'll make a loss on Russian probably, but like I'd say Rusty, if you get a bit of money for him, then you're talking Pembele, possibly. Did I mention him? If I haven't, then I have already. I have them by that point. Predator Cats think we will shock a few this season. I wouldn't be shocked myself either. Let's put it that way. Then just think as well. Laurentiis be the first player that's the current regime they're paying that's over the age of 25. Yeah, he's 26, isn't he? Didn't think about it that way. If we get relegated, I can't see Diarra Adingra staying, so we sell them. The money should be reinvested straight away, championship or not. Edin says, good evening from Bosnia, Michael. Wow, fair play. Fair play for watching, mate. Hopefully the goalkeeper talk won't harm Pato's confidence. Still pretty solid goalkeeper in him. I like him, but I would like better in the Prem, personally. But I like Pato, though, don't get me wrong. He was excellent in the playoff final and a big reason why we won the game. Then if we keep signing the calibre of players we are, I think we'll be fine. Just look at our business compared to Leeds and Burnley. Well, I don't know if any of you seen it, and I'm going to see if I can find the link to it, actually. But there was a link to a training video, and I think it was at Hannibal against Kyle Walker at Burnley. Walker got done, like really done. Now, don't get me wrong, it could be that Hannibal's just a good player. But hang on, just give us a minute. I'm going to see if I can find it. So, because I sent it in a group chat. Right, hang on. I'll quickly send it into here. Let's see. There we go. There's the link. Click on that, and it'll show you a video on Twitter of Walker getting done. And that makes me think if we've got like Laurentiis, Adingra, etc., playing against him, I would like to hope that we've got a good chance of winning at Burnley if we can, provided nothing silly happens. Ian Brown, are you still doing a Sunday vid? Yeah, the reason I went live tonight was because instead of Sunday. So, my mate Ant, who supports Leicester, Ant's Leicester fan channel, you'll find me on there every Sunday evening, I think, from now on. I think both of us want to just do a show where we're just chatting together about general football stuff. And obviously, because Leicester and Sunderland, about our respective fortunes and what's happening. So one of the reasons I'm doing it tonight is because I don't want to have the idea, because last week I went on Ant's stream, then quickly went off and came on here. So I would like to maybe try and space out the streams across the week. And as you can tell, there's a helicopter outside. But on this nice humid day, by the way. But no, that's the whole point. So sorry I might disappoint. So don't be surprised if it's on a Friday in the near future or a Saturday. So I'm not going to promise going on Sundays regularly for the moment, but we'll wait and see. But on this coming Sunday, probably not. But I will be live with Ant. And if you want me to put a link to his channel in the description or in the chat here, so you can click on it, or in the comments when this stream's done, then I'm more than happy to do so. See, a few people have clicked off. Is that because they're in protest of me not doing a video on Sunday? Paul Armour, or do Leeds just go out go after our targets and fail miserably? I like that explanation better. I'm going to go with that. Alex, Leeds and Burnley are down. Both can't spend the money they needed. Interesting. Then Pato, Hume, Ballard, Seal, Reynoldo, Diarra, Neil, Lafay, Adingra, Laurentiente, Amanda. Not too dissimilar to what mine was, to be fair. Alan Greenwell says, wage bill in Champa was 18th. John 73. Hello Bowers, liking your site very much. Might be a bit early, but my prediction for this season's top 10 finish. Thought I'd get it in early. Whoa, okay. Top 10 finish. I like your optimism, fella. Let's hope that we get... I saw there was one account online that was adamant we are getting top 12 this season. And I'll tell you what, if that happens, I will be absolutely buzzing my man tits off at it. Southern Northerner, I just hope if we do reasonably well, we can sort out Reggie Labrisse's contract. A lot of clubs will have him in their radar. Yeah, I believe he signed a 3-year deal, didn't he? So obviously if we stay up, for example, then I do believe in a year's time we need to think about redoing that contract and sort of getting him tied down to a longer one. Keith Ashcroft says, enjoying your vlogs. Pleased to see your channel is growing. Think the signings are good. Thank you very much, Keith. And yes, I hope that I think the signings do look promising on paper, but we need to see how they adapt to the Prem and how they gel with each other. Saeed TV. Chris Rigg available, lads. Would love to buy him. Man United fan. Well, this is the big thing because we've apparently... Well, again, this is Alan Nixon, so I'm a bit hesitant to believe this, but I think the Express said it as well. Apparently, Chris Rigg has been given a new contract offer by Sunderland, so I'm really hoping that gets tied down because we absolutely want to get him tied down and again protect our investment. So, you know, let's wait and see. But if not, then I think it should probably be costing 30 to 35 million, put it that way. Or at the very least 25 mil, I would say now, because he's got 2 years left. And truthfully, the only reason I'm not asking for more is because of the length of his contract. But yeah, interesting side. Fair enough. We'll see what happens. You might sign him. Who knows? And well done on... Looks like you're getting Mbeumo, by the way. Robin says, top priority, top goalie. Yep, I think that's one of them. Ian says, no, apparently I've just been sent something. I'll have a quick check in a minute. Ian, can't believe Abdullahi might be in Labrisse's plans. He's came out of the blue saying that Meander was in a similar situation. Oh, right, this will be about Trafford going to Man City. Yeah, I've just recognised it. Never mind. Someone in a group chat, a friend of mine, she sent me a screenshot of something that looked like from Fabrizio Romano, but it's about Trafford to Man City, I think. False alarm. Yeah, Abdullahi, I think he'll go out on loan. I would not be surprised if a championship club or a high-end League One club ends up coming in for him. I said it before, Walker is a good signing for experience at Burnley, but he's finished. He got destroyed against Senegal. By the way, our Diarra did very well that game. Yes, I heard he did, didn't he? He scored, I believe, didn't he? At the City ground. John says, Burnley have spent their budget on players that took them up. Yeah, was it likes of Jaden Anthony and Marcus Edwards were two of them that they signed. I still think Abdullahi needs a loan at the Championship this season, but the lad does look really good and talented. His hold-up play is very impressive. David Scott, is Sunderland on live tomorrow night? Anywhere. I believe it'll be... Well, yeah, Thane's just answered that question. Actually, funnily enough that you mentioned that, David. SAFC live streaming pass. Yeah, basically it's that. Norman Logan, as a lad support for over 60 years, I think I am more positive about the signings than I ever have been. That would say quite a bit, to be fair, Norman. In a good way, obviously. Jeffrey Hodge, would you try to sign Metham? Didn't let us down. I think I would sign Metham, depending on the price that Bournemouth wants, because he was out of contract originally at the end of last season, but because Bournemouth had a 1-year extension that they were able to trigger, they've ended up doing that. So, for me, I think if you're asking me with Metham, if you signed him as a squad option, I wouldn't be against it, but you'd need to spend a big bulk of money on a proper, athletic, quick, strong beast of a centre back in the Premier League. That's what I suspect we'd probably do. But yeah, I wouldn't complain depending on the price, in the short answer to your question. So good that I didn't waffle for a change too much. Mark Wilkins, I reckon young Cresswell and Ballard will be a great centre-half pairing and years to grow together. To be fair, Nixon was right about Diarra. Yeah, but if you throw enough at the wall, something does eventually stick. But to be fair, he was right. He was right about Diarra. Ian says, a lot of signings Leeds have made over these seasons have been top championship quality. I think they'd rely on them. Well, apparently they really rate, there's Anton Stack, apparently, that they've seemed to have agreed a fee with Hoffenheim for, and apparently personal terms have already been agreed. So And maybe an unpopular opinion, I don't think Longstaff's that bad at signing for them, but at the same time, it doesn't have the level of excitement of a Diarra, for example. But again, it's probably because Diarra is a more unknown quantity, whereas Longstaff is a bit more known. Jim, Abdullah is my wild card pick for Viper. Mayenda Mark II. Big unit, fast, strong, and great shot. Was rated higher than Mayenda. Fair enough. Paul, is John 73 being on the bob? I really hope he's right, mind. Yeah? Well, let's hope he is right. If he was the one who said about the top 10 thing, then yeah, I'll absolutely have it. The man. There's the man. What do we think about the centre half, Willa Bingadel from Genk, who's been linked for 22 million? Sasha tweeted. Did he tweet about Sunderland being interested? If he did, then who knows? I'd have to look into that, mate. I'd have to look into that. Miles Percival having a good laugh there. Robert Foster and £4 million and no more for Metham. Yeah, I'd say about 5 to 6. I think that's what I'd be willing to go to. Any more than that, I'd be reluctant. Jerry Little Dweller, right? I like that. Norman Me Too, been supporting SCFC for 62 years. Hope I can hang on and see a Brill season, mate. Make a fist of it. How are the lads? Let's hope so, mate. Peter Harvey says, I would put as a striker with Mayenda. I'm optimistic for the new season. Mackham supporters be patient with signings onwards and upwards. Well, we've actually managed to catch up with most of the comments. I'm trying to see if I can persuade Sean to come on for a little bit. Let's see, what else is there? So so apologies for. Oh, right. Sean says he's not very well. Oh, bless him. Never mind. Yeah, maybe I'll just try and send him a bunch of sad emojis to make him feel guilty. But hey ho, there's a bit of music going on outside. Don't blame me for copyright. Right, let's have a look. Right, quick one. Eden, thoughts of Mundell possible move away? Saw Monaco being linked with him today, and what amount of money you reckon we might get? If there's any truth in this? Very. I did answer this before, but I'll answer it again for you, mate. Basically, I think Mundell. I would like to keep him, but if he wants to go somewhere through wanting to be guaranteed more minutes, essentially, then I wouldn't begrudge him it too much. And as for the money that we would probably get, I'd be wanting at least 10 million, maybe 10 to 15 million for him, which I think is balancing the fact he had two big hamstring injuries last season, but at the same time delivered on the pitch when he was fit and also has 3 years left on his deal. Ollie, did you see the new lead signing? He cannot play because of the red card. Which one's this, if you don't mind me asking, Ollie? Alex McDonald, Bournemouth want 10 million from FM. Then in which case I wouldn't go near him. Bruce D says, whoever found such chose Labrise has changed our club no end. Definitely. Yeah, of course, says Stevie G. Jims, I think Wilson will be better in the Premier League because of playing less games. He seemed tired. He seemed tired a lot in the Championship. The man says, also linked with Craven Moorhead from Man United, who's a keeper. Trying to fish through some more of these. Ian, watching some of the SCFC videos, it's good the new players are settling in well and finding their place at the club. Well, again, you want to get some of the camaraderie straight away, don't you? The next one from Mark says, regarding the players who are going to AFCOM, I read today that if 3 or more players are on international duty, we can request to call games off. As we have 6 players going, maybe it's not all that bad. I'd certainly be requesting Leeds and Brentford and Palace and all that to be postponed if we need to. Man City, we wouldn't get anything from anyway. So I think it's like, I don't know if you can do that, but it's worth a go. But I have seen that. Ollie says, Biljol? I see my pronunciations are absolutely cack. They are terrible. Martin Reed, every game will be a cup final. It'll be hard. Need to get behind the lads from start to finish, bring back the Roker Raw. Completely agree. Scott says, wouldn't read too much into the Mundell exit. He blacked out his stints to last pre-season 2, plus the club offered him a new deal yesterday. Well, like I said, I hope Mundell stays. If Mundell does stay, then I think providing Laurentiente signs, I think we're sorted for wingers now. And now this is the lad I was on about. So go and subscribe to him. Ant's Leicester fan channel. He's obviously just started to come back to doing YouTube. Obviously ahead of the new season. Obviously, of course, Leicester kick off earlier than we do, being in the Championship. But yeah, me and him are going live pretty much every Sunday, I think, or at least quite regularly often. When last summer we did this as well, where we did a show when Leicester got promoted and Sunderland obviously finished 16th. Yay! In the Championship. But we basically did a stream every week, basically, or every so often, where we just talk through the general football stuff, Leicester and Sunderland, obviously, talking about our own clubs. So yeah, go and subscribe to Ant. Deserves it. Does some really good content. Really good content. And thanks, Ant, my friend. Hit the likes, guys. Help Michael out. That's much appreciated, my friend. Can't wait for Sunday to chat football with you. Glenn Jones said, I've watched the women's England team, been watching Isidore taking the pens. Yeah, I did see the penalty shootout was rubbish last night. But good on the Lionesses for getting to the semis. Really good. I think they've got Italy on Tuesday. So yeah, let's hope they get to the final. The man says, oh, and the German Ben der Hover from Bayern Munich, also a keeper. Some of these names. Ian, so they do have the availability to postpone matches because of AFCON. That's a good thing. John, lots of Downton Thomas's shouts about have faith. Let's hope so. Thane, and I suspect Thane's saying this to try and wind Ant up a little bit. He says, El Canus, and I think I've said that right, to Sunderland, please. Well, I think Ant would, I mean, obviously I know Ant would rather keep him, but if he had to pick out of us and Forest, I think he'd much rather we went to Sunderland for obvious reasons, as much as obviously he wants to keep him first. Norman, as far as AFCON postponements, wouldn't that cause a major backlog at the end of the season? Not necessarily. It depends on when the fixtures are placed, really. But I get what you're thinking. I just think for me, if for example, Leeds at home, that's a fixture that is massive on our calendar, and it's one that we really do need to be winning if we want to have a chance of survival in the Premier League. So I think if we can push that back, then if we haven't got a full strength squad, then I think that's fair enough. Scott. Plus, we can use Mundo when AFCON hits. Yeah, no, that is absolutely true. Ian Brown, Laurienте is a penalty taker. Well, there you go then. Hopefully, we won't. Hopefully, we won't. We won't be needing to put pressure on Isidore. And here we go. My channel is the main hub for anti-cov. I hear you lot can't stand the Tim Pot lot either. Leighton says hello, JP. The next one. John Paul Coltman says, hello, Leighton. God, this thing's playing up. There we go. Alex McDonald, opinions on the first game of the season being a sellout. Think it's really good? I think it is really good. Hans comment, I'll get to that in a minute. I think being sold out, I think that's really, really good. And I think this is where the Stadium of Light will need to be a fortress and fans will need to be. I think they'll be behind the team, but I mean like making noise consistently and trying to make it a really intimidating atmosphere for West Ham. Answer, we need to apply twat tax for Forest. Sorry, guys, if you don't like bad language, I've got to read this comment. You need to apply twat tax for Forest. I'd recommend you watch The Final Whistle, by the way. Jack, who's another Leicester fan, I've done videos with him before, and one of the lads on there said twat tax for Nottingham Forest, because obviously Leicester and Forest don't like each other. Yeah, as you can probably tell, this stream's not for kids. Leighton, Herb, we are linked with Phil McCracken. Is that the Kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean? But yeah, I'm terrible with dad jokes. Sorry, guys. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with that one. Wonder what will happen tomorrow in the window. Hopefully Llorente signs and we get a solid link to a centre half or a goalkeeper. Scott saying, oh, don't worry, Cov fans woke up thinking they were Geordies. Oh, my days. Paul, always the optimist. I also have a few shillings on top half finished. There we go then, mate. If you're in Sunderland, I'll buy you a pint if we get in the top half this season in the Prem. If you go up to Sunderland, promise you, hold me to that. I will stick to it. Ian Brown, must treat every match like the Cov's second leg. No, in terms of atmosphere, I completely agree. Obviously, if we're getting absolutely battered in a game, that's different. But I mean, at the start of the game and when games are tight and stuff like that, I think the 12th man can make it. It's a cliche, but as Dave Lawrence says on What the Folk Pod, it's a cliche because it's true. And I think that the 12th man thing could be a massive difference maker for us. Then I can't see anything happening apart from Llorente having his medical. Maybe an update from the Brisson transfers. Yeah, being honest, I don't see much happening over the weekend. I think the focus tomorrow will be on the game between us and Sevilla, and I think Llorente might happen on the Sunday possibly. And then I think obviously Monday night is the Sporting game, so I think that's where we're going to see. Maybe it's slowed down a little bit. I'm not surprised the last few days have been a bit slow in comparison to the week before, because obviously when we were linked with a lot of players, it was moving along at a breakneck pace, wasn't it? Peter Harvey, oh no. I love this comment, Peter, but I don't want to get my hopes up. It'll be a wonderful buy if we go for Ahmad. We shall see. Mbeumo to Man United. Being honest, that's not happening, but I would love to be wrong. Robin, who do you rate as good as Petrovic? I absolutely have no idea. I think it's going to, like I said, with a lot of our signings, unless it's someone who's in the last year of their contract from the Prem, I don't see us signing anyone from the Premier League. I think it'll mostly be from abroad. So if it's from abroad, I'm going to know diddly squat about a lot of our players that we could potentially be linked with. Hearing after Llorente, the club's still interested in getting another 6-7 players in. Mad. Well, you know what? I think it seems that we want depth and we really want to have a good crack at staying up. Oh, Thane, don't start. Ahmad a breakout transfer record for a third time this window. Ahmad's not coming back, guys. As much as I would love to be wrong on that, I'd be astonished if Ahmad came back. Ian, what I'm told, substitutes from last season, since a lot of the championship first team will be on the bench. I'd imagine they'll probably be loaned out or be in the reserves then, I would imagine. Then it'll either be that Belgium keeper or Ramsdale. or maybe even Johnson. I think Johnson, if it's going to be a number 2 shout, I think would make sense. Aaron Ramsdale, yeah, I haven't really talked about Aaron Ramsdale that much, have I? I think Aaron Ramsdale's a weird one because I think from what Southampton fans have said, he was actually pretty good last season, as good as you can be for getting 12 points in the Premier League anyway. And apparently it was just the dross that was in front of him. Now, I'd like to think then that we would have a better team than Southampton did last season, but I don't know that yet. I don't know that until we kick the season off and see how we do. But the way I'd phrase it is, if he was genuinely good, and it was the team in front of him, then fair enough. And bear in mind, we do have a habit of getting players whose careers took knockbacks, and we get the best out of them. I wouldn't be surprised if Ramsdale did come in. If it was Sam Johnson, it'll be a number 2 and Pat will be number 1, I think. Or Pat will get sold and we bring someone else as a number 1 with Johnson as number 2. I'd like better than Ramsdale, ideally, but I'm slightly warming to the idea of it if it does happen, even though I do still want better. I wish people would drop this nonsense about Ahmad coming back. There's not a chance in hell it happens. Yeah, I wouldn't say not a chance in hell because I think there probably be, but it would be a 1% chance or 5% chance at best. But I think it's extremely unlikely. But I agree. I just don't see Ahmad coming back. Ollie, you can never say never, but I can't because as a can and cannot. Fair enough. You worked it. Fair enough, Ollie. There, my friend. You did work the system. To be fair. Thing he's getting pushed down the pecking order, especially when Mbeumo coming in. Depends though. Man United might want the depth, though, mightn't they? But I hear the point you're making. Hopefully, you're right. Sunderland, prove me wrong. Sign Ahmad this window on a permanent big deal, on a 5-year deal. That'd be lovely. Alex, Ramsgate has been relegated 3 times in his career. I don't think he'll be good for the dressing room. Ian says, we haven't had the depth for years. We need to take advantage of that in this window. Absolutely. Completely agree with that. Scott says, I can honestly sticking with Pat or to be honest. Alex, Ramsdale, I meant. Yeah, I love you said Ramsgate, but I knew you meant Ramsdale. Mark says, more chance of getting Xhaka than Ahmad, but we need to bid around £20 million on a 3-year contract, but worth the money if we stop up. Ian Banks says, if Man United decide to sell Ahmad, which they won't, he'll go to a club in the Champions League of massive wages. To be fair, Southampton's business was similar to Burnley this season. Buy a few loan players, some decent talent, but the style of play killed them. Now, that's the fair point with Southampton, because a lot of what their struggles were Russell Martin stubbornly refusing to adapt to the Premier League. And I remember watching their game against, I think it was Liverpool at home last season, and they lost 3-2. They actually gave it a decent goal, but one of the goals, at least what killed them, was playing out from the back. And when you're up against much better quality, you're going to be punished. Whereas Sunderland are going to look to not have much of the ball, but be deadly on the transition. And I think that's where I think we'll do better than Southampton. Funnily enough, if we get a couple of decent centre backs and a good goalkeeper, I could see us doing quite much better than Southampton because I think our style of play will suit the Premier League better than Southampton's would have. PRV, if Ahmad's not happy at Man United, he'll move to SCFC. Believe in miracles. I love your thinking, my friend. Marianne and Carl says, with Ramsdale, you've got to think of Pickford when he went to Everton, hovering over the relegation zone every year, but still England's number 1. Very true. And then what about Hermanson from Leicester? Wouldn't be against that. Jeffrey, I love Pato. He saved us twice in the final. Sirkin can be a bit brittle sometimes, but fully fit instead. Yeah, well, I mean, look, if Sirkin can prove us wrong, then absolutely brilliant. Edward Young, a lot of Prem clubs need to lose some players now later in the window for PSR reasons. Thane, Hermanson is a decent keeper, wouldn't say no. Lone Stars says, is there a place in our 11 for our youngsters? Rig, Neil, Patterson, Sirkin, Mayenda and Mundle. I think there's, in our 11, possibly Patterson, maybe Neil, Rig, Mayenda, possibly. I'd say amongst them, maybe, but still. No, but it's an interesting question, to be fair. Anne says, I think you will do the best out of all 3 promoted clubs. If we get a couple of good centre-halves and a good goalkeeper, I agree. I think our style of play, again, will work a bit better. I think Leeds, to be fair, they are signing a bit of physicality in there. But I think Sunderland are trying to balance that with signing some decent technical players as well. And remember, you don't have to be tall to be, excuse my language, a bastard in the midfield park. Say Bruno, for example, at Newcastle. And he's a bastard in a good way for Newcastle, where he's not the tallest, but he's combative. And we've got loans to use as well. One could be Diego Carlos from Fenerbahce. Rumours of talks going on. Here's my shout. I wouldn't be surprised if Mundle left and we signed Oscar Bob from Man City. That's not based on anything, by the way. It's just a gut feeling. Rice says, get me through the work, Michael. Cheers from California. Mate, I'm going to be heading off in the next few minutes, but I'm glad you're going to be getting you somewhat through your work. So let's hope so. Ian, feel free to ask Matt SB to put us 17 when they do their Prem predictions because they'll put us 20th, I bet, because we have them. To be fair, Matt is actually quite objective. Matt and Sophie are two good Coventry fans. I think if anything, maybe Sophie's the one who is slightly more blue tinted specs, but that's not exclusive to Sophie. Everybody's got, to some degree, looking at it through their club's perspective. But both Matt and Sophie are really good, to be fair. They're both really good. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. To be honest, I'm not going to watch a lot of Prem predictions for that exact reason, because I think most people just tip us to get relegated, which I understand based on the last 2 seasons. David Scott, can't see us buying Ahmad. Leeds is not interested in it. Oh, that's comment of the night. I absolutely love that. Jim, problem with Russell Martin was he thought he was the man, but he was the only one who thought that. Too arrogant. Annie from the Championship panel show, Bristol City fan, would love you for that. He hates Russell Martin. Scott says, you sure Ant isn't a secret Mackham? And if I wasn't a City fan, I would be. Yeah, let's just say, and I mean, I think he had a soft spot for Sunderland to some degree through knowing me. But ever since we beat Coventry in the playoffs, his soft spots level risen for us a bit. Then they are, to be fair. Yeah, do you know what? But guys, honestly, I would really recommend you go and check out Ant's channel, because me and him are going to be going live on Sunday on his channel. Maybe I might put it in one of the community posts on mine, and then we'll obviously chat Leicester and Sunderland and then general football stuff, because that should be pretty good. Oh, geez, we have a few comments in one go. Right, let's get through these. Hang on. Where was the last one? Oh, yeah. Javid, I love Pato. Saved us twice. Sirkin with that pot on is brittle, but can explain why, with all due respect, why did Petrovic go to Bournemouth? Probably more established Prem club, unfortunately, even though they're much smaller than we are. That's no disrespect to Bournemouth, because they've been ran superbly, by the way. But it's a huge positive. Rival clubs are rating our business and even say we mean business and that we could stay up. Teams and other fans are taking notice. That's what gives us hope, though, Thane, because when I watch Fabrizio Romano tweet something about Sunderland, what gives me the sort of hope, really, is that whenever he's tweeted something, a lot of fans are going, oh my God, Sunderland are cooking. Oh my God, Sunderland can actually stay up. How did Sunderland manage to get him? And if enough people are saying that, even though I've not watched these guys play, then I think it should be quite encouraging. And I wonder why this is. I really wanted Russell Martin. Ant and Annie on the Championship panel show would be hilarious if that happened. And by the way, guys, me, Ant, and possibly Annie and whoever else might still be doing the Championship review show this season, because I will still be watching a lot of the Championship, but or at least a fair bit of it. But yeah, I still enjoyed the Championship review show. I loved it too much to stop doing it altogether. Harry says, to be fair, we should aim for higher rated loan players. Yeah, I agree. I think we will do that later. That's the business I think will be done later on in the window. Southern Northerner. We need to create the atmosphere before and during the game like we did against Cov. Ian, I'd love the loan markets. I'd love to look at the loan market with the obligation to buy if we stay up. I'm pretty sure we did something similar to that last January, but it was obligation to buy if we went up, like Lafay, for example. We offered quite a few players that, I think, or clubs. Scott says, I like Leicester. Was a big fan of Mavididi when they were last in the Championship. Yeah, I like Mavididi. You should have heard Ant talking about Daka, Patson Daka. He wasn't a big fan of his. Alex McDonald, you think Sir can leave for game time because of the new left back? I wouldn't be totally surprised. I wouldn't be totally surprised if Sirkin left because of the contract situation and not signing it, or as we know so far, not signing it. He might have signed it and it just hasn't been revealed. But I wouldn't be shocked if Sirkin did leave. Ryan Haswell says, Sparks Sunderland are saying Mundell has left Portugal for London. Mindless, goodness me. Portugal for London to look for a move elsewhere. If it's to PSV, good luck to him in a Champions League team with a Dinger and Laurentiente signing. We are covered. You got to remember as well that what is it? With Mundell going, let's say if we get 15 million for Mundell. Let's pretend for a second. I'd be astonished if Standard Liège didn't have a sell on in there. I'd be very surprised. But let's say it's 15 million. That goes some way to contributing a lot of Laurente's transfer. So it's interesting. It's my way of looking at it anyway. Then, I know I love it. We are back in the Prem. I'm still not dreaming even now. So the Northern. Get the flares going when opposition team bus enters. This is, that's what they do in Italy and Turkey. Love it. Alex, is Callum Doyle still available? Now, he's an interesting one. I think if we'd have certainly been in the Championship, I would have definitely been interested in him. But who knows? Scott says Doyle isn't Prem standard. I suppose we don't know that yet because he hasn't had a chance to play there yet. But, you know, he needs to be, if he's going to be a Premier League player, he needs to make the Prem move in the next couple of seasons, doesn't he, really, for his career? Didn't someone say Callum Doyle's travelling to Portugal? Was that not with Man City? Or are you trying to hint that he's coming to Sunderland? Ian says, everyone put us in relegation zones in their predictions. Even if we're signing great players, we need to prove these See you next Tuesday is wrong. It is very frustrating. Yeah, I agree. It is frustrating. I think people made that mistake with us in the playoffs as well. People seem to assume we had no chance, and look what happened. Anthony, I just read Romain Mundle's picked up an injury out in Portugal this week, hence why he hasn't been in the more recent training footage. That one, this one, I mean, do you know, part of me wouldn't be against accepting a fee for Mundle because of the injury more than anything else. It's just been confirmed that he's out because of injury. Now, I'm guessing this is what my mate has just sent us about Mundle, so let's have a look. What is there? Romain Mundle picked up an injury out in Portugal. Right, okay, so this is from Phil Smith. So this tweet here from Phil Smith from the Sunderland Echo, but I'll read it out to you. Romain Mundle has picked up an injury out in Portugal this week, hence why he hasn't been in the more recent training footage, etc. Being assessed, so don't think there's a time frame at the moment. Should hear more over the weekend. I'm really hoping Mundle doesn't develop into an injury-prone player, but yeah, it's a shame if he does. Like, that's what I mean. It might be the case that if Sunderland have a chance of accepting a fee for him, then maybe they do it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Bong says, "Oh, I'm surprised you haven't commented before this. Oh, hey, Michael. Hello, my friend. How are you doing?" Scott says, "No mention of a transfer." Bong says, "What have I missed? Not much, to be totally honest. Basically, Laurriente is close to signing by the looks of it, and Mundle picked up an injury out in Portugal, hence why he's travelling back from Portugal. That's the basic gist of it. That's not a good sign because injury mentioned when someone being linked usually means something's happening. Do you mean as in sale? As in someone being sold? Lone Star, who else are we selling? Right, I would say, well, let's say Mundle goes for a minute. It'll be Mundle, Ekwa, Bar, Russian, Poveda, Hamia, Pambele, Matete, players like that, basically. Joe Anderson, obviously, if we can get it, then we'll see. Thomas Douglas, Mundle goes for 10 million max, surely. Do you think? Well, if you mean because of the injuries, I can understand it, but I think 10 million at minimum is what we should be getting. I think any less than that, I'd be disappointed. Maybe, yes, that says how ridiculous the market is, but still. Leeds apparently confirmed the signing of Sean Longstaff. There we go. Eden, in terms of loans, Badir Shield from Chelsea comes to mind as a pretty realistic target. Big guy at the back, exactly what we need. That might be a loan deal we could do, to be fair. David said, "I think they sell Neil. Don't think he signed a new contract. It's had a long time to sign." Yeah, I think we're getting to the point where if Neil's not going to sign the next couple of weeks, he has to be sold. Dane says, "I'd rather Diassi. Bashir is a disaster waiting to happen." Dan says, "Leicester rejected signing him on a permanent after he won the championship with us." Is that the Chelsea guy I think you're on about? Yeah, so we'll wait and see. Right, as well. Yeah, I agree, Michael, mate. The club won't have left us short with Adingri and Laurriente a lot further on in their careers than Mundle. Mando says, basically saying that Phil Smith reported Mundle's had a hamstring and that's why he's back in London. Hamstring injury, rather. Right, if it's wrong from Spark, which I did think might be Phil, I believe. Yeah, well, the difference is, I think Spark Sunderland, and I know the guys that, Speak Sunderland, I think. Is it Spark Sunderland or Speak Sunderland, you said? One of them will be a university radio station, and the other one will be one that's like sort of not a fan site, but someone who like sort of reports on the news as they see it. Whereas Phil's obviously the senior reporter of a publication. So, and no disrespect to the other two, by the way, because obviously, but it's just different things, isn't it? And it says, "Agree, Thane, but Reggie must get the best out of them." Oh, Jesus, hang on, right, here we go. Ian says, "Yeah, I've just read that getting sold now." Mando, Diego Carlos, yes or no? Depends on the fee, I suppose, really. But as Thane says here, says Diego Carlos, yes for the experience. That's fair enough. Hang on, so I can get it. Oh my God, this thing's annoying me. Right. Bong says, "So who are we going to sell to purchase Xhaka? Probably Neil more than anything else, I'd imagine." Paul says, "Michael, are we buying you a pint, mate? I'm a Durham lad living now in Seaham. Seaham's a decent area, mate. I like it." Oh, well, fair enough. We'll buy each other one then. Then says, "That's true, Eden." Ian Max says, "See, I'm coughing because of Poveda." We've always got Poveda. Yeah, that's going to be a great laugh, isn't it? Ryan says, "I think Phil Smith would know if he was talking to Mando. Diego Carlos won't accept anything. Team won't accept. Is that Fenerbahce? Won't accept any less than under 25. Sorry, under 25. Jesus, under 11.5 million. There's a big season provider this season. Might be able to complete 25 minutes this season. He'll last on 24 minutes 59 seconds, mate." So would you sell Daniel for 50 million if he doesn't sign a new deal? Absolutely. I think that money could be used to getting towards someone who's going to be like a longer term prospect. Bruce Lee says, hoping to get a few new signings up before the Hearts game. I'm going to Hearts, by the way, so if anyone wants to see me across Edinburgh, then fair enough. Come and say hello to us, if people want to, of course. Let's see, Mando. I wouldn't sell Dan Neil. Ryan was, I can see a sad Geordie bastard chance against Leeds. Of course they will. That's what happens. Dave Collinson says Neil. Alexandra says Leeds can't steal our dogs when they get Newcastle's players. Genius. Newcastle doing us a favour directly there. And says, I'm Michael, hope you're well. I'm thinking it wouldn't be surprising if Mundell did just go with having Adingra, Laurienте, and possibly El Canoes from Leicester. Could lack game time he wants. Yeah, maybe. David Conson says he's not good enough. Ant was on about Callum Doyle before. Fair enough then. Then says when this comes up, Carlos could be a loan with an option to buy. Because in Turkey, there's more foreign player rules. They want to get him out of the squad to make more room for new signings. Ryan says, Sparks, Sunderland, our radio station. Yeah, I agree. Ian, if we sell Sirkin from Neil from the contract situation, we need another left back at the very least in that situation. I guess it all depends if Huggins stays fit. But that's, again, I think with Huggins, the difference with him and, say, Sirkin, for example, is with Huggins, he's had 2 massively bad injuries, as opposed to Sirkin getting loads of little niggly ones. But if Huggins doesn't make it through this season unscathed with injuries, then it's about time to let him go, probably. Mason, how likely do you think it is signing Xhaka is? Put it this way, if I was to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 3 or a 4. I'll be very surprised, and that's at highest, to be honest. I'd be very surprised if we signed him, but I'd love to be wrong. And Diego Carlos would be a permanent because I want a buyback clause. Ian says, sell Neil for Xhaka, great shout that. Mason says, how likely do you think? Oh, I've already got to this. Hang on, I've already got a few of them. Oh, okay, here we go. Then I highly doubt that, especially when he's 32 now and turns 33 in May. Ryan says, Mags wanted Carlos, but he went to Villa. Would be a great signing. It's on Sky Sports saying Leverkusen won £20 million, where our offer is a lot lower than that at this rate. I wouldn't go more above 10 million, put it that way. Bong says, any news about Charlie Cresswell? Not as far as I'm aware of. Alex says, can we not loan out Mundell? Could be a shout, to be fair. With centre-backs at the moment, it's either Diakite, Lucimi, or Diego Carlos. Cresswell has gone very quiet. Alex says, what's this bit? Would you sign 1 or 2 centre-backs? 2. I think we need to sign 2. I think we need to have a bit more for the... I think 09 will go to 4th choice, and I think we'll sign 2. 1 to either start alongside Ballard or 2 new starters. Ryan says, I think Neil will sign a new deal, but he needs to hurry up. El Canoes will be a decent signing, scored a few goals for Leicester. Absolutely. And Thane agrees with me on 2 centre-backs. Guys, I think I'm going to leave it. My voice is starting to crack up a little bit reading all the comments, but thanks to everyone who's been watching. It's incredible. And this was very short notice. I just decided very late in the day to do this. So guys, for those of you who aren't aware, if you've just clicked in, this is probably going to be replacing when I go on go live on Sundays, because I'm going to be doing live with Ant on his channel, Ant's Leicester Fan Channel. Type Ant's Leicester Fan Channel. And you'll find it in there. It's a really good channel. Leicester fan, good mate of mine. We did championship reviews together. He was actually there at the Coventry away game in the league when we lost 3-0. But he was pretty happy that we beat Coventry. Let's put it this way. So yeah, hang on. Where have I gone next? Very quickly, Mando, wonder what's going to happen to Roberts this season. Probably sold if I'm honest, but we'll see. Ian Brown, see you on Sunday. David Scott says, good night, see you on Sunday. Yep, see you on Ant's Leicester Fan Channel on Sunday. That's much appreciated. And yeah, go and subscribe. And again, if you're watching this and you're not subbed and you think I've earned it, then go and hit the sub button. It'd be massively appreciated. Great stream, Thane. Thank you very much. At some point, we will want to get Thane on, so we will see. We'll see. Right, thanks, Michael. I only saw you on late, but I'll tune in every Friday, mate. Great show. You're a good lad. Thank you very much. I might not be on every Friday, but I will try and get streams as regularly as possible because people do seem to enjoy them. See you next time, Edward. Yeah, thanks very much to everyone who watched. Stay safe, and as I always say, are we the lads?